Hey everyone, this is Jase. In this guide, we're going to learn how to do alchemy all the way to 120. Let's get started. First thing you want to do is make sure on a profile. I'm going to select please subscribe. Head on over to scripts. I'm going to click new. Name the script alchemy. Okay. The first thing we're going to want to do is make sure that we're crafting the right potions. On the wiki, here's what you need. Lesser poison, then lesser magic resist, and then greater poison, etc. Reagents that we need for this, which is just nightshades in bottles. Okay. And then all the poisons are different nightshades. So the most we're ever going to use is 10 at a time, so 10 nightshade. And then the lesser magic resist potions, those take spider silk, 3 of them. So in our script, we basically want to make sure that we have the correct supplies. So we need a mortar pestle, a bottle, the correct regs, and then we're eventually going to need a keg to make sure that we can pour these potions into the keg. So I'm lucky enough to have a shelf in my house. A shelf helps you set up a loadout. Then you can just click resupply in order to get these supplies. Since not everybody has a shelf, we'll go ahead and set up a restock agent, and I'll also show you how to do a shelf afterward. Go ahead and set up our agent now, the restock agent. Let's go over to agents tab and click restock. We'll go to restock 1. We're gonna need a mortar pestle, so we're gonna add a target there. We just need 1, and we need only 3 spider silk, but we'll say 10. And then we need eventually 10 each for nightshade, but in order to avoid restocking all the time, I'm gonna say 50 here. Does this say scissors? Why does that say scissors? I don't need scissors. Apparently I have scissors under the spider silk. How did I click that? That's amazing. Anyway, so we have our mortar pestle, we have our regs, and now we need bottles. Add a target, and then we'll say, again, we only need 1 bottle, but just so it doesn't have to keep grabbing bottles over and over again, we'll say 10. We'll also add a keg. We just need 1 keg. Okay, so let's assume that this box is your restock agent. If we head over to scripts, not, find type, and we want to do info on our pestle. If not, find world pestle in our backpack. We'll do restock 1. We're going to check for the other things as well. So if we don't have a mortar pestle or our count of nightshade is less than 10, or our count of spider silk less than 5, because we're only ever going to need 3 for that, or we need bottles, info, or not, find type, empty bottles in our backpack, and we want to restock 1. When we call our restock, it's going to want to target. So to make things easier, we're going to head over to options, and we'll add a script variable for our restock, our bag. Click add, click on our agent, and we'll say restock container, stock underscore container. And then within our script, we can say restock 1, wait for target, target, restock container. Okay, and if we save and play this, basically is running the restock agent and then clicking our restock container variable. So what we can do now is say if not, find type, mortal pestle. In our backpack, we can say overhead, supplies. In red, wait 2 seconds, and replay. If. Basically, this will kick us out of the script if we run out of those. And we can do the same for others, but we're just going to skip that for now. That will be in the end script. So assuming we have the correct materials, now we'll want to double click D, quick type, mortar and pestle on our backpack, wait for Gump, 94, 90, 95, 101. To make the script rerunnable, we want to make sure we clear sys message and Gump close at the top. So if I save and play this, correctly pulls up the guide. So now what we can do is actually just go ahead and pre-fill in these values here. So let's check our skill. If our skill in alchemy is less than 55, else if our skill in alchemy is less than 75. So these are our blocks for making sure we craft the correct potion. The other thing you can do up at the very top here is do a little escape check. If you only have 100 alchemy, for example, you can say if alchemy is greater or equal to 100, You can say overhead, hit max, wait 5 seconds, and replay. So for example, I'm at 120. If I hit play here, it basically just says, hey, you already hit max. So this will save you regs if you happen to only have 100 skill or 101 skill. You just fill in that number there. Okay, so we got our supplies. We got this going. I'm just going to say this is 130, which will never be true, just so we can run that. Okay, so we'll just take these values here, and we'll do a little overhead so we can see overhead of that. Okay, now that we have this kind of pre-filled in, let's go ahead and make sure that we're crafting the right thing. So basically we're clicking the mortal pestle, which will be here, and then we wait for Gump. If you remember from the previous videos, the Gump info here, the category starts at 100. So 100, 200, I'm sorry, 100, 101, 102. So in our case, if you're just getting started, you want 50, you want to be lesser potions. So you go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 106. So we'll do that here. We'll say Gump response 106. And then wait for Gump 94, 90, 95, 101. Okay, and then we'll want to create a lesser potion. And so starting here is 200, 201, 202. So we'll wait for that, and then we'll say Gump response 200 to make a lesser potion. I'm going to save and play this just to make sure that it's working. You pour a potion into the bottle. Okay, it automatically fills up the keg. Okay, so the other thing we want to do is after we craft, we want to wait for the Gump to return, and then we'll wait 3 seconds for the potion to be created. Now that we're creating the potion, I'm going to give you an example of when the keg is full. So I have a full keg over here of lesser potion. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play. You pour the potion into a bottle. So now I have these potions here. I'm going to make another one. What will happen if I don't continue to, or if I don't empty this keg or replace this keg, then eventually I'm just going to create a whole bunch of potions that are all going to fall to the ground. And I might not be able to restock because item counts. So how do we get this potion onto this keg? What you can do is you can drag and drop a potion, but once the potion's full, it gives a system message that the keg can't hold anymore. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to try to lift the green potions onto a particular item. What happens is if you do a greater than info on the keg, no matter what type of keg it is, they all have the same ID and name. The only thing that changes is hue. And unfortunately right now, hue isn't an option in Razor. If you remember, our Restock Agent tries to get a keg out of this. So even though we have a full keg, it doesn't try to get us an empty keg, right? So what we want to do is we want to move the full keg into a different container. So once we get a message that says this keg won't hold anymore, we want to move the keg with a organizer agent into a different bag. So let's start by trying to get the green potion onto the keg. Let's empty this out a little bit just so we have room here. To give you an example, when we try to move a potion onto a keg, it will say in a system message that you place an empty bottle in your backpack. If I continue to move this over, eventually once it's full, it says the container cannot hold anymore. And again, these are system messages that we'll be able to look for. So let's make a new script just to test the potion drop. So I'm going to say potion drop. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to see if we have any potions to move. So we're going to do info on the green potion. So I'm going to take that and say if, find type, green potion in our backpack, and if. And what we're going to try to do is make sure that we can move any of these potions onto the keg. So what we would do here is say lift type, okay, and then green potion backpack, and then drop. And what it says here is to drop, we need to have a serial and then the layer name. So we want to drop onto our keg, okay, but how do we set keg? We know we have a keg in our backpack, so before we get to this step, we're going to just comment that out for right now. We're going to go above. And we basically want to try to target this keg. Some scripts use like a dagger to target. Some people use the scissors to target. What we're going to do is we're going to use the hotkey set last target. Okay, so we have a set last target hotkey. So from our script, and then hit save. Damn it. So if find type green potion backpack, and I want to make sure that the name matches here. Green potion backpack, and if hotkey set last target, wait for target, then target type keg backpack. Because remember, these infos are keg. So what this should do is if I hit play on this, it's going to set our last target as this keg. Okay, so now we can actually lift type green potion. We'll say 1. Drop last target. I think 0, 0, 0 is fine. Let's try it out. Save, play. So it attempts to drop that potion, and it says it can't hold anymore, so let's just empty some out so we can make sure it works. Play. You place it empty on your backpack. Play, 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 and it says it can't hold anymore. So now what we want to do is we want to check for a system message that says if insys mess hold anymore. Overhead and if. We can save and play. It's time to move the keg. We're going to use an organizer agent to move the keg once it's full. As you can see here, I went through quite a few kegs. I only did, I think, 3 or 4 kegs of lesser potion, and then I think I did 40 kegs of lesser resist. Anyway, so we're going to go back to the organizer agent now. So we have our restock agent 1, which is getting the empty kegs, but then we're going to do an organizer agent of 1, where we add a target of a keg, and then we need to put it into a different container. So if you remember, mine is this first one up here. I'm going to make my second container the actual full kegs. Because if you make them the same, you have the potential of just picking up a full keg again. So empty kegs in one, full kegs in another. Go back to our script. So now instead of saying overhead move keg, we can say organizer 1. And then we'll wait for 1 second for it to move. Okay, so if we save and play this, the keg moves away. So let's go ahead and take this snippet and add it back to our main script. So in Alchemy here, we're creating a potion. And then at the end, after everything runs, we can say if we find a green potion, again, we're going to set the last target to a keg in our backpack. We're going to lift the potion, drop it. So let's save and play this. We should get a new keg. Oh, we also need to add a... The reason why that didn't work is because we didn't have a find type of a keg in here. So, or not find type keg. Back. Save and play. Correctly grabs that. Pour a potion in. Got it. Okay, so we've covered how to store potions into a keg. And we've also covered how to move a full keg and then get an empty keg. So now the question is, what happens when you switch from one potion type to a next? For example, we were doing the green potions into this keg. Well, at some point you're going to switch to lesser magic resist or a different type of potion. And then what happens if you try to move those? So what we're going to do is we're going to move this test that we have going on here under our actual script. So we're going to fill in these other things. So again, 55 to 50 is 106. to 200. Let's say we moved to 75 skill, right? And so we want to do lesser magic. So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 105. And then lesser magic resist is 200. So then we can go again back to greater poison. So that's 106. And then greater is 0, 1, 2. So it's 202. And deadly is 106, and then 203, and then lethal 106, 204. So we've filled in all the different potion types. I'll just say and else overhead all done. So I should get the all done message because I'm full. Done all this. Found a green potion, so again it will play. It will move my other green potion. So again, let's pretend that I've just went from 55 skill, 54.9 to 55, okay? And so the next thing I'm gonna start making is the lesser magic potions. I'm gonna put that in my skill here just so you guys can see. I'm gonna save and play, and it's gonna make a magic resist. So we're gonna do the same type of thing, but with magic resist. So let's go ahead and do an info on the black potion. Name, black potion, lift type, black potion. And let's see the system message that happens when this runs. You decide that it would be a bad idea to mix different types of potions. So at this point, even though the keg isn't full, we still want to move it. Where it says not hold anymore, we want to say insys mess or insys message bad idea to mix. Okay, and we'll add that to this one as well. Save, play. Now it should move the keg. Oh, I need to wait. I need to add a wait here. You can't find the system message quick enough. Let's wait 500. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the good news is we don't need to check the in-system message in each one of these blocks because they're actually the same. So we can move that out of the ifs. Okay, so if find type potion tries to put it in the keg, and if the keg is full, then we need to move the keg. Now if we run this, it will grab a new keg, make a magic resist potion, and then fill it with magic resist. Okay. One other thing with the magic resist, the lesser magic resist, I ended up not needing these. I was like, okay, why do I need all these kegs? Because I'm not going to sell them, you know? So if you want to keep them to sell them or use them, then do that. But to save on keg costs, what we're going to do is just drink these potions after we make them. So instead of find type black potion backpack set last target, we'll just say declick type black potion backpack. Okay, and if we remove all that and save and play. Now instead of having to worry about a whole bunch of kegs like me, you can just drink the potions. Again, up to you, but that's another option. Okay, so again, we've done all that. So let's say we've moved from lesser magic to greater resist potions. I'm sorry, greater potions. I'll put that in my block here just so we can test. Save, play. Created the potion. Bad idea to mix, so it moves it. Okay, I play. It's gonna get another empty keg, and it's gonna start to fill my potion with greater. Okay, so from at this point, now if you don't have a shelf, you're going to need a whole bunch of kegs. And you're going to need to make sure that you have a whole bunch of empty kegs and a whole bunch of room for kegs to go into the your organizer. Because I got to 120 and it took this many. It took 5,528 graders to get to 95. It took another 5,700 of deadly to get to 115, and then it took 700 to get to 120. So if you don't have a shelf, you know, you're gonna need 55 kegs here, 57 kegs here, 7 kegs there, because you got 100 potions in each keg. So let's just cover how to use your shelf instead of the restock agents. Okay, because again, you're done now. This was your script. If you didn't have a shelf, this is what you're going to use the whole way through. Congratulations. If you have a shelf, it's going to change a little bit because we'll be able to use the keg drop onto the shelf as well as a restock agent onto the shelf. So instead of not find type all of this stuff, if you want to use a shelf, you basically just do info on your shelf, and you can see that it's got a serial ID and it's called a storage shelf. Now, I would set up an options here, and the script variables add, click our shelf, we'll name it restock shelf. Okay. And in our scripts, where we do a restock 1 here, you can also do just a menu shelf. Oops. Menu restock shelf. The menus are index based of 0. So restock here is 0. Resupply is 1. So we would want to do resupply. So menu 1. 500. And then you can still do the restock 1 because you'll have to get an empty keg. So again, if you want to get the regas and things off of that, you can. So there you go. Okay, so now that we can take items from the shelf by doing a single click and doing a resupply, we're going to also go ahead and go down to dropping our keg off. You can drag and drop a keg onto the shelf and it will attempt to do that. We can also use an organizer agent to avoid having to do the lift type. Let's just go ahead and do an organizer agent of 2. So we'll say organizer 2. Wait, 1,000. Okay, so we'll use the organizer agent of 2 to move the potion into the shelf. So we'll go over to agents. Organizer 2. We'll say add target, keg, set hot bag, our shelf. Any potion containing kegs that we have, we will attempt to put it onto the shelf. Now, if it's something that can't be stored, it actually gives another system message there that says it can't be stored. So what we'll want to do is add a check for that on our scripts where it says we can't hold anymore, move the keg organizer 2, wait 1,000. If instance mess cannot be stored in a storage shelf, and if. Okay, so now if I save and play this, restocked correctly. I think I misspelled something again. Yeah, stored. Okay, let's save again and play. I love programming, but I'm a terrible speller. Okay, so we push all that out, and if I play again, it should correctly get a new empty keg and start filling it with potions. Alright. So I think that's it. So basically in this video we have covered how to get the correct supplies using either a restock shelf or a restock agent. Okay, we've also said how do we escape our script if we hit a certain value in skills scrolls. Hit max, boom, done. Okay, we have made sure that we had supplies. So again, we can just add a couple more here. Oh, the other thing we want to do is loop. Silly. At the very end, we're going to loop. All right, so let's review again. We are getting all our supplies off the restock shelf or a restock agent. We're escaping the script if we run out of skill scrolls or we've hit the max, which is 120. Okay, we're outputting specific messages depending on what we are missing. More no pestle. Okay. No nightshade, no spider silk, no keg, no empty bottles. We're double clicking the pestle, checking our skill to make sure we're correcting the craft potions. We're waiting for the potion to be created. If we find a green potion, we're trying to put it in a keg. If we have a black potion, we're just going to drink it to save keg space. And then if the keg reports that it can't hold anymore or it's a bad idea to mix, we're going to try to put it on our storage shelf. And if it cannot be stored on a storage shelf, we'll just move it to its regular backpack. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Next up might be inscription, or depending on what other people want to see in the comments below. Let me know if you liked it, loved it, hated it, didn't want to wait this long for it. Appreciate all the shout outs as I'm playing the game to tell me to make videos. keep me motivated, guys. Peace.